I am Mary. I am 42 years old. I married Alex, who is also 42, 18 years ago. We have a 17-year-old son. Our son hopes to attend college next year. After my son was born, I continued to work and have built a long career at my company. Thanks to this, I have been able to achieve a certain position. Now I feel it was worth continuing my job, but it wasn't the same in the beginning. When we first got married, I strongly wanted to focus on our home. However, the reality was that living on Alex's salary alone was tough. After a child was born, expenses increased with buying a house and other things. I couldn't afford to quit my job. Alex worked at a small local company and, to be honest, his salary wasn't very good. It seemed to bother him a lot. I wasn't particularly dissatisfied with Alex's salary. After all, I married him for his sincerity. However, he seemed uncomfortable letting others know that I was working. Maybe he didn't want people thinking he couldn't support our family on his own. Still, as our child grew and our home stabilized and my work became fulfilling, I felt content with our current situation. But there was one thing that concerned me. It was about Alex's younger sister, Jessica. She is 40, 2 years younger than Alex. She lives only a 5-minute drive from our house. The first time I met her, Jessica seemed very friendly and lively. However, as time passed, our relationship gradually deteriorated. Hello, Mary. Oh, Jessica. Hello. One weekend morning, an unexpected doorbell woke me up. When I went to the entrance, Jessica and her kids were there. Honestly, I felt a bit annoyed, but I greeted her with a smile. Without saying anything, Jessica confidently entered the house. Alex, I'm here. So, how have you been? Alex wasn't surprised to see Jessica and even welcomed her with a smile. Her kids, who were in the 4th and 2nd grade, made a lot of noise while Alex and Jessica talked. Seeing this, I felt dizzy. Alex, are you going somewhere today? Yes. Then, can you drop me off at the station? Of course. Jessica wanted Alex to drive her somewhere. I told the kids not to make too much noise inside the house. Hey, you'll get hurt if you run around the house. We don't care. The kids ignored me and kept running around energetically. Mary, something urgent came up and I have to leave. Could you look after the kids for me? I thought that might be the case. Without any hesitation, she made this request. That might be difficult. Upon my refusal, Alex gave me a stern look. Can't you think about giving Jessica, who's always struggling with raising kids, a little break? I have plans in the afternoon, you know. My husband exaggeratedly showed his disappointment in my words and actions by heaving a deep sigh. Isn't your matter something that can wait? Jessica wants to take a little break, so let her. Really, you lack kindness? With those blunt words, my husband quickly got ready to leave, departing our home with his sister. I'm sorry. I'll be back by night. So I'll take you all the way to your destination, not just the station. Call me when you're ready to come back. Really? Thank you, Alex. My husband responded in a softer tone than usual to his sister. I could tell she was smiling, even though she looked apologetic. Despite the noise her sons were making at home, she left with my husband. This was a familiar scene. After we got married, my husband always pampered his sister, putting her first. Whenever I voiced a complaint, my husband would criticize me, saying I'm inconsiderate and selfish. Even when I became pregnant, he didn't seem too happy. It's a joyous occasion, But I didn't want this now, he said, hurting me with his words. Jessica married late, after she turned 30. When my pregnancy was revealed, she was still unmarried. With my sister still unmarried, how could we have a child? That murmured sentiment from my husband was unforgettable for me. I was shocked to see him more concerned about his sister's marital status than our own child. I knew they shared a deep bond, but I never expected it to be this strong. But this was just the beginning of my nightmare. When Jessica decided to marry, my husband wanted to give her a wedding gift, and I readily agreed. When we got married, we didn't receive any blessings from her, but we were young and didn't mind. However, when I saw the gift my husband brought home, I was stunned. Are you seriously giving this to Jessica for her wedding? Yes, that's the plan. In my husband's hand was a shopping bag from a high-end brand. A brand where one item could cost up to $5,000. It was clear this was no small token. Even if I didn't know what was inside, it had to cost at least several $1,000s. The shock and excitement surged within me. It's unbelievable to give such an expensive item. She wants this. If it makes her happy, I want to give it. It's unthinkable to give something this expensive. And for Jessica to expect such a gift is questionable too. All my pent-up frustrations exploded. Knowing my husband favored his sister and acted on his whims, I questioned if this situation was okay even after marriage. I had always felt this way. Upon hearing my words, my husband, in anger, slammed a glass on the table, shattering it. Crash! The unexpected loud noise echoed, and the glass broke. It felt like the noise was an expression of his rage, and I was taken aback. Seeing my husband this angry for the first time, I was frightened. Watching him agitated, breathing heavily, I was lost for words. Why would you say something like that? I'm sorry. I had no choice but to back down, fearing to anger him further. Our little son was upstairs. I couldn't let him see his father like this. Thinking that, I felt powerless to argue with my husband. I was foolish to hope that once Jessica got married, she'd distance herself from us a bit. Her whims continued to escalate even after that. My sister-in-law, who became a neighbor after getting married, often came to her house and announced she had a lot of free time as a stay-at-home wife. Even though I was often home due to my part-time work when my son was young, it wasn't to entertain her child. I was tired of her coming over any day of the week. Whenever she came over, our peaceful day would be disrupted. She'd open the refrigerator without asking, eat whatever she wanted, and even secretly take food home. Often, I'd find that things I bought were missing, making it impossible to cook the meal I planned. Jessica, we plan our grocery shopping too. Please stop taking things without asking. But why? Alex said I could do whatever I want. What? No matter how many times I warned her, she didn't change. Worse, she would deliberately tattle to my husband. As a result, he would blame me. You blame Jessica. You know she's struggling because her husband isn't earning much. Right? It's just food. But if things are so hard, why doesn't Jessica work too? It's enough. I won't let you be against Jessica. I knew she was unsatisfied with her husband's unstable income. In that case, she should consider working part-time. Even when I suggested that to my husband, he just dismissed it, saying, "It's none of your business." After Jessica had a child, the situation worsened. She treated our home like a daycare. She'd often drop her child off without notice and go out. Her poorly disciplined child was unruly, often throwing tantrums when things didn't go their way. I was overwhelmed, trying to ensure my home wasn't destroyed. In this exhausting situation, only my son, Tyler, helped me out. Aren't you tired? Dad and Aunt Jessica are both unreasonable. They just take advantage of you. I'm glad someone understands. From a young age, Tyler observed the dynamics between me, my husband, and Jessica. He looked down on his father and strongly disliked Jessica. He occasionally confronted his father, but his concerns were always dismissed. One day, Alex and Jessica returned home together. As usual, she had left her kids with me and gone out. Seeing Jessica's smug smile, I was puzzled. Listen. In a month, we're moving out. Start packing. What? Alex explained that since Jessica's family was growing and needed more space, and since Tyler would be moving out soon, we didn't need such a large house. What do you mean? So I'm giving the house to my sister's family. Got it? What are you talking about? If you disagree, let's divorce. What? Saying that, he handed me divorce papers with his name already written on them. I was shocked and looked up at him. I'm sorry it had to come to this, Mary. Instead of Alex, Jessica excitedly explained. She had told him that her husband's income was dwindling, and they were struggling to pay rent and handle the growing kids. It would be so much easier if we lived in a spacious house like Alex's, she mused enviously. Alex was probably influenced by her words and made this plan. I couldn't understand any of it and was at a loss for words. My husband, confident in his decision, said, "In a month, Jessica and her family will move in." Wait a minute. Tyler has exams next year, and you want to move the house now? And where is this new house of ours? Why don't you just look it up and handle the process yourself? He said with frustration. Meanwhile, Jessica was ignoring my feelings and happily telling the kids, who were running around the house, about the move. Yet, there's no talking sense between these people. All I did was stand there idly. Tyler, I need to talk to you. When my husband was away, I approached my son about the fact that Alex decided everything on his own, about moving out of this house. Tyler looked at me seriously and listened. Mom, won't you regret it? No, I won't. I plan to leave. But I don't want you to worry. Don't worry about me. I'm aiming for a national university, and I have a scholarship. Money will be fine. Trust me to handle it. There might be a little turmoil, though. When I told him I had a plan and he only had to think about his exams, he laughed. Who do you think I am? I'm your pride and joy, aren't I? My apologies. Yes, you are my pride and joy. I was wondering how long you'd put up with it. I'm relieved that you've made a decision. Seeing my son's smiling face warmed my heart. 1 month after my husband's unilateral decision, Jessica's family arrived at our house, excitedly carrying a large amount of luggage. They looked around at the neatly organized home and the collected luggage, laughing happily. Oh my, you've even packed the washing machine and fridge. I wanted to use them since we're here. The house seems so deserted. We packed everything for the move, so we took it all with us. So you really don't think things through. Can't you consider others for a change? What could I say? I hadn't seen this coming. I was puzzled by my husband's actions and words. Without saying much and just smiling, I saw Alex clicking his tongue in annoyance. Ignoring that, Jessica and her family were walking around the house. It was as if they were inspecting a model home, and my husband watched with delight. What's this? I don't know whose stuff this is, but it hasn't been packed. What? Jessica exclaimed in surprise as she peeked into a room, and my husband's eyes widened in shock. It was his study? He seemed puzzled that his room was untouched. What's the meaning of this? Well, you told us to pack our things, so I just moved mine and Tyler's stuff. What did you say? Aren't you and Jessica family too? After all, you always prioritize your sister over us. Stop being so jealous. Don't be upset over such trivial matters. It's no joke. We have to move Jessica's stuff in now. My words didn't seem to get through to my husband. Go ahead. I plan to live in my new home with my family. What did you say? You can live happily with the family you love in this house. Perhaps my husband was finally beginning to understand the situation. The previously clueless expression on his face turned stern. What are you thinking, Jessica? Alex might not have explained this, but I'm giving this to you. Without paying any attention to my husband, I handed the papers to her clueless Jessica. It was an envelope with a bank's name on it. Hello, what's this envelope about? It's the paperwork regarding the name change on the house mortgage. Wait, what? The mortgage papers for this house? Yes. Didn't you know? This house is only 15 years old. It still has over 20 years of loan payments left. You'll be handling the payments from now on. Jessica, trembling, opened the papers and seemed shocked at their contents. Her husband had a dazed expression, clearly confused. What are you talking about? I thought we could live here without paying rent. I had no idea either. Alex, what's this? A mortgage? Well, yes, we do have to keep paying it. I had no idea. While Alex and Jessica were panicking, I sighed deeply. But they've already repaid half the mortgage, right? Can't we somehow handle the remaining amount? That's true. I heard that Mary has a low-paying job. Maybe I should work a bit more and increase our income? I couldn't help but smile at their optimistic comments. Haha, that might be one way to handle it. Seeing my smile, Alex, who knew the reality, couldn't hide his agitation. So, how much do we have to pay monthly? $1,800 per month. $1,800? My answer left Jessica with a look of surprise. Did my husband tell you anything? My job is a bit special. Special? How so? I'm a licensed tax accountant. Can you work as a tax accountant? It seems Alex had been hiding the truth. Jessica's face showed confusion. I knew my high salary and the fact that I earned more than him made him uncomfortable. He probably didn't like that I earned much more than him. To preserve his pride, he probably didn't talk much about my income. This is all news to me. We can't afford to pay $1,800. What are we going to do, Alex? Jessica pleaded desperately with Alex. Well, maybe you should come up with the money, I said, turning to my husband. Me? You always said to cherish our family. You told me multiple times that we should help each other out, right? How about helping out with your sister's loan? When I made this suggestion, Alex looked surprised and said, Yes, that's right. You should contribute too. Let's settle Jessica and her husband's home mortgage together. He's such a fool. Honestly, I was truly amazed that he'd say something like that at a time like this. I began to wonder why I had supported such a foolish man all these years. To me, you're now a stranger. If we're not family, I don't need to help. What are you saying? You gave me the divorce papers, didn't you? If I oppose you, it means divorce. No, I was just out of my mind. I had reached my breaking point. With you always prioritizing your sister, and Jessica doing as she pleases. That's why I decided to get a divorce. I signed the divorce papers and submitted them. I never thought you'd actually go through with the divorce. You might not have noticed, but I've been suffering all this time. But now, I feel so relieved. I looked at my husband with a big smile and handed the house keys to my confused Jessica. You can use it freely from now on. Later, Jessica's family couldn't pay the mortgage and eventually decided to cancel their move. You never said anything about the loan. You should have taken care of it, Alex. She desperately argued, trying to live in that house, but it was not to be. With just my ex-husband's income, it was understood that covering the house mortgage and living expenses would be challenging. Alex, who had always been lenient with his sister, realized there's nothing one can do without money. The siblings, who were once close, had a big fight over this and became estranged. Alex was told by his sister that he was useless and was bad-mouthed a lot. Since Jessica's family had already vacated their previous house, they had to move into a cheap apartment, and due to a lack of funds, it seemed they were living cramped in a small space with 4 people. Their kids probably had limited space to even walk around, let alone play freely. Alex lost all his family and became alone. He tried calling my son and me, but we didn't answer. After that, I demanded child support through a lawyer. The lump sum child support wasn't that high, but I decided to use it for my son's college fund. To do that, Alex seemed to have sold the house. I really don't care anymore. My son and I moved to a new apartment and started a new life. Without the troubles of Jessica's selfishness and Alex's biased behavior, we've been able to spend peaceful days. And my son got into his first choice college and started living on his own near my apartment. I have some great news. I've been appointed as a manager at my new job. The company president had previously proposed launching a new office, and I decided to accept the offer. I had wanted to go independent, but I hesitated, fearing Alex's opposition. Now, starting a new life, a precious opportunity is in front of me. I sincerely listened to the president's proposal and decided to take on the role of the new office manager. Even though my son has left the nest and I'm alone, there's no time to feel lonely. Chased by the new job, I'm filled with fulfillment. Finally, I've been able to take a big leap on my own. With this new opportunity, I want to achieve even greater results. Because this is my own life,